Welcome back, folks. This is Matthew with BDM Equipment, and I certainly appreciate you tuning in and renting the equipment. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the third function hydraulic circuit on the Kioti tractor, and of course also how it works with the grapple versus how it works with the hydraulic top cylinder on the tractor. So real quick, how we control the third function. So they call it a third function because most compact tractors come basically with two functions. They have the loader functions, and in the rear they don't have additional circuits unless they are optioned that way. Additional circuits in the rear are generally used for a hydraulic top link. So you have your 3-point link in the back, the two lower arms that are hooked up to the actual gearbox of the tractor, and then the third point on top. And on the top link, you generally just have a rod, some sort of a clevis pin or Heim joints, if you will, with a threaded rod that you can adjust manually, but that is very cumbersome. And if you want to, say you're using a box blade or a grater blade, and you want to be able to change the angle of bite that your rear attachment is taking real time when you're operating the equipment, you can use a hydraulic top link. So what we have set up on this tractor is basically one additional circuit of hydraulics, which is actuated through these two switches right here on the loader. But now we have a choice whether or not we're going to use that additional circuit for the hydraulic top link, which is on the rear, or if we're going to use it to operate a hydraulic attachment on the front. And for the Kioti, the only hydraulic attachment we have that it'll operate is the grapple. So the grapple essentially is a big claw, big massive claw, wonderful for picking up rocks, for tree branches, big bundles of branches, even logs. It does fantastic. So with that, we just have a 3/8 inch hydraulic quick couple here. So these guys are going to plug in to the attachment, the quick couples that are on the front of the tractor up by the loader arm. So when you raise the little levers for the skid steer quick attach, you're just going to put these up out of the way. You're going to attach, take the bucket off, and go ahead and attach the quick attach. And then these guys are going to fit up on the hydraulic quick couple. You're just going to slide this sleeve, and then this guy is going to push up, and you're going to slide the female sleeve on the tractor. Now, when you take these off, one thing to note, this is very important, and it becomes a much bigger issue on the skid steers, but there are cylinders here, and there's a lot of weight on the upper claws. So when you are done with this machine, you're done with the grapple and you want to take it off, go ahead and lower the claws down to the relaxed position, and that way you're not going to inadvertently pressurize the lines on the grapple. If they were up and you took them off, the weight of these claws is going to try to pull the cylinder, and in doing so, because they're double acting cylinders, it's going to pressurize one side. And if you pressurize one side, you may not be able to actually couple the hydraulic line. So with that, you'd either have to have somebody pull up on those, or you would have to crack one of the hydraulic lines a little bit to loosen it up and allow it to relieve that pressure, so you can then couple it up. The tractor is usually not too big of a deal, but on a skid steer it becomes a big deal when the grapples weigh 700 pounds apiece. So with that, for the Kioti, this is how you operate them. The electrics need to be on, the tractor hydraulics need to be on. But currently, you can see we have two lines coming up from the back of the tractor. They're routed up around this metal bracket, and those are hooking up to the extra hydraulic circuit, which are these two lower lines. So now if we don't want to use the top link, what we need to do is disconnect these two hydraulic couples. We disconnect those. Now we're just going to zip tie them or just store them out of the way, and we can put the rubber plugs, clean those plugs off, and they're a little dirty. I'm not going to put them in there right now, and we're basically just going to stick that in there, couple it up, and that's out of the way. It'll stay nice and clean. Now we have, coming off the front of the tractor, you can see here, this is going to be for the hydraulics for the front. We have a red and a green, and you're just going to hook those up to these two locations right here. When you do that, okay, as discussed, red, green, green. You can see it's kind of dirty, so I'm not going to hook any of these up. We're going to get a rag and clean these before we do anything further with that. But those hoses are going to come down to these two, which have covers on them right now to prevent them getting full of dirt and gunk. So once we lift these handles and take the bucket off, we put the grapple on. Those two hoses on the grapple are going to hook up to those right there. Now, once you do that, when the machine is running, you'll be able to see the two buttons here. These are going to extend and retract the valves to operate the grapple on the front attachment. So with that, that is your third point control circuit and how we change them on the Kioti tractor. Thank you very much for the rental. Thank you for your business. Thank you for watching.